now back at it. Hey, Curtis.
Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Are you excited?
Yes, totally.
Yeah, waited a long time for that sip.
I was. I really was.
Yeah. So, have you ever been on a podcast before?
Yes, as VO though.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what
I've done some
voiceover. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was searching my brain so hard for like VO. That's should be obvious. Voiceover.
Voiceover.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Well, this one I'm just gonna start by asking you all this stuff about yourself. Tell me. Okay. So, when did you first get into creative stuff? That's a really vague question.
That is a very big question.
What
It
was
was
the first
very
color
broad.
crayon you liked? No.
So when I was 3 years old,
Blue. I just scribbled it everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I had the box of the 24 box of crayons.
Yeah.
And,
and then that went into acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did you start all your acting?
Oh man, all my acting started when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. Like what
That was just happenstance because when I did my first musical when I was in middle school.
Okay. Nice.
And yeah, it was for chorus, and we did the Mikado.
Oh, Mikado.
Yes.
I remember watching that when I was a kid, and then my dad would mess with us and be like Mikado, and we knew we had to say it.
Right.
Yeah. That's my only memory of that.
So yes, we did the Mikado, which was really nice. Got my face painted like white and everything. Had the whole Japanese look going on there.
Yeah.
And
did you have to audition because you were in chorus?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, we had to audition for
so
certain roles because like the lead roles there was singing roles. So like you had a good voice, you had to sing a song.
Yeah.
And
the curse of a good voice.
Oh yes.
I know. You're just forced into this profession.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So were you a background or were you a lead in that?
On that, I was literally one of the backgrounds, the lowly background.
Love it.
Just looking, and I was one of the village people.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know
not the YMCA village people, but
No, you were like, he showed up as an A.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then after this, you realized you're a star. And I need to pursue this.
Believe it or not, when I did that, it was something that was fun. It was part of the class, and I was like, all right, and I wanted a good grade.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Again, you showed up as an A.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm an A. I'm gonna pass this class, right?
Yeah.
But
so did you do the plays or like the musicals every year?
No. It was just they did 2 performances, and also by me being in chorus, we had choir performances, and chorus performances as well too.
Yeah.
But as far as acting, yeah, that really didn't kick off until actually after I graduated high school. Well, yeah, after I graduated high school, but right in the middle of, I would say, my junior year, my mom kind of like introduced me into like that whole acting aspect and stuff, and kind of put it in my head.
So did you do the whole college thing?
No.
That thing?
Yeah, that thing. I did go to college, but I didn't finish.
Okay, same with me.
Yeah, see, so
You just realized you have other stuff going on.
Right, exactly. I was like, I couldn't see myself sitting in a classroom for another 4+ years after I been in a classroom for over 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, no, I can't do this. It felt like jail, and I was like, no. I tried it. Even I was working full time, and I tried it, and I was bored, and it wasn't keeping my attention, and I was like, I can't do this.
So did you already know what you wanted to do, like career-wise, like in this industry when you chose not to go to college, or did you find that out after kind of winging it?
Well, I found that out after kind of winging it. After college, I did go out to like certain places, like, oh, come to us, we can help you get discovered, and this and this, blah blah blah. course, scams.
Did that work for you?
Yeah.
You went to those?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you know,
I want to hear all about that.
I did.
Yeah, I know.
I did go to quite a few of them when I was in Georgia, because at the time the industry didn't make its way to Georgia. So yeah, I've been to ones that's like you go in, they have this huge like setup. You go in and sit down among like parents and their kids and stuff, and they do this whole spiel. They have a video plan as far as like you can be like this person and or the next person. You could be the next person that goes through this whole round of competition, and you can be the next Will Smith and stuff, and we can get you there.
And his face is like flashing, it's hypnotizing you, and it's
flashing
twirling.
you, and they're showing images like supposedly like competitions and everything, and other contestants that've been through the competition and stuff. So they show the video, they get you all hyped up, and they were like, all you got to do is just sign up, and we can get you, you know, get you in front of so and so that's been in the industry for this long, and they now teaches and stuff.
And for $5,000, you can even get an agent.
Right. So did that, and sat down and went through the whole thing and filled out the form, and it was like, okay, so you want to enter into the competition? Yes. $5,000 to enter into the competition. And see, and that's the thing, is like you enter into the competition, and that's just the preliminary.
Oh, the first price to like get in.
The first price to get in. That's the preliminary, and they don't tell you that. That's just to enter into the preliminary.
Yeah.
To see if you even good enough to even make it over to the next round and stuff. And they just have you stand there, and they'll have somebody come down the line and say, nope. Okay, yeah, you can keep going. Nope. You can keep going. Yep.
And it's probably all random, just because they know it doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
Wow.
So,
you look at what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Right.
What folks are wearing.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, they might have money. Yes, you can go. Yeah.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So.
Alexis Keys.
Yeah. So.
You're in.
Right. So it's a scam as far as like trying to get money from families and stuff and everything, and I did that once, and
I was gonna say, how many of those did you do before you realized?
I did it once, and the one time I did, I went in for the callback. They gave me a callback. Went back in to see them again, and it was like only 10 of us that made it through. Really? They picked, and so they was like, "Oh, congratulations for the callback!" And so now you get to go to the next round, which is in another state. At that time, it was in Pittsburgh. So I had to fly to Pittsburgh.
Did you pay your own ticket, or
pay my own ticket, pay for my plane, hotel, and fly there, go through the next round? Oh my God. Yes. And
they're like, now it's get our friends' money in these other states.
So so they get you to go through the whole round. You go walk the runway. You have a booth where you take pictures. And then you have a spot where they do like a, excuse me, a monologue. So after you go through these different areas, then they have you come back and sit down, and they grade you. And they was like, okay, this person was good in this area and stuff and everything. And so if you get a good enough grade, then you go to the next round.
Should have showed up in your A again.
You know? Come in, I'm the village people, you know?
Your career is a full circle.
Right. Oh, man. So they was like, oh, congratulations, you made it on to the next round. Now this time, for you to get to the next round, which is in California.
Which probably sounds a little legit to you, because you're like, that's where famous people end up.
Right. So it's like, oh, now you going to LA, and it's $10,000 plus your plane ticket. Then you got to buy a hotel room. So I was like, no, I'm checking out.
Yeah. So would you have passed?
Oh, I passed.
No, you passed. Okay.
I passed. I checked out. I was like, nope. I was not paying $10,000 just to come to LA to do another round. And
they're going to send you to Europe after that.
Right.
And then you'll be stranded there.
Right.
Somehow.
Yep.
Yeah. I know. Oh, so question. Was it only like the end, the money thing that was tipping you off, or were there like, because you said you're walking the runway. Did you ever feel like, okay, this could actually be it, or were you a little skeptical the whole time? Like, were any of your red flags going off?
Well, I was younger, a lot younger. So I guess at that time I was more so excited that, of course, everything that was happening. But then, when it came to me, when he was like, "Oh, you got to pay this," and that, I'm like, more money.
Yeah.
Really, more money.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my mom was telling. She was like, "Look, I heard that if they really want you, you wouldn't have to pay anything." And I was like, "Yeah, but you don't know." I was young. You don't know. I was like, I didn't want to listen to her, but in actuality, she is right.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay anything if they want you. Managers, agents, they get their percentage out of what you get paid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't pay them. So it was something, and then I checked out, and I was like, you know what? Nope, I'm done. And I didn't fly back. I stayed in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. That's how you ended up there?
I stayed in Pittsburgh for a bit, and then I left from Pittsburgh and went to Pottstown because we had family friends there. Stayed with them for about a year, and then I went back to Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, I went back to Georgia, and
so at this point, had you just thrown the whole idea of this industry out of your head? You were doing other stuff because you're like, that's.
Yeah, I had just pretty much succumbed, just succumb to normalcy, normal lifestyle, and it's like a normal work.
Yeah.
And for a couple of years, I mean, I ended up getting engaged and stuff, and I found myself that I was irritated and upset because I wasn't being my true self. For one, I couldn't do what I wanted to do, what I loved to do, which was being an artist.
Yeah.
And it felt like the walls was closing in on me, and I couldn't do anything. And I was like, oh, I'm in this relationship, stuck in Georgia. The industry isn't here.
Yeah. Yet.
I'm like, oh God, what is happening to my life right now? And I just felt like I was getting suffocated.
So it was still calling? Like you still felt
In a way, yeah. It was like it was still there. And there was more. It just felt like I had more to offer to life than just being a normal Southern guy growing up, going through school, graduating high school, getting a job, and settling down and getting married, having kids, and this and that. It's like there's more to life.
I'm getting bored just listening.
Yeah.
No kidding. It's a really nice life for some people.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I can imagine the feeling. Just like, I have to do something. There's so much potential.
Right, right.
So were you ever a writer on the side, or did you how did you decide that the film industry would be what you would go back into?
You know what? Credit to mom. Because mom called. She was like, she contacted me. I was engaged, and she was like, hey, I'm thinking about moving back to Pennsylvania. And I was like, okay, you sure? And she was like, yes. And she was going to take her and my baby brother. And she was like, now, if you move with me, you'll be closer to New York, and your career would be able to take off as far as acting. And I was like, you ain't got to sell me on leaving Georgia to move and stuff and everything. I was like, when we leaving?
Yeah, that's the most perfect situation.
Yeah, and I was like, when we leaving?
Yeah.
So
okay, so you got to Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Philly.
Yeah, good old Philly. Then kind of find out my heritage, my family background, the Case family is Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
I found that out when I moved up there, and I was like, oh, there's a bunch of yous up here. I was like, okay. And that's the Pennsylvania. That's the Pennsylvania coming out yous, because they added S onto everything.
Yeah.
But yes, I moved up to Pennsylvania at the end of 2007, and right when I moved up there, lo and behold, Hollywood decided they discovered Georgia. And then Walking Dead started happening.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, wait, what?
Well, that's not fair.
And I was like, what the hell? What
Yeah.
in the world is just going? What is happening right now? So
But I feel like also the confidence you'd get over like a big move like that would also be the thing that would push you to like put yourself out there.
Right.
Because if the industry just randomly came to your town but you hadn't done anything to like change yourself, you might not have tried to take advantage of it.
That's true. That is true. That's a good way of putting it.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, how did you make sure you didn't make the same mistakes you made when you were younger, when you tried to relearn the industry? Like, what kind of resources did you look for to get started?
Believe it or not, I moved in when I got to Pennsylvania, which was end of 07, 08. Things really didn't start kicking off until like two or 3 years later.
I feel like that's kind of normal.
Yeah, like 2011. And believe it or not, I met somebody at the church I was going to. He was an actor, and he introduced me to somebody. So he was so that's how like that kind of ended up happening, because I was talking with him and he was telling me about like phillyfilm.org and stuff, and and a lot of independent companies post a lot of castings on there in Philadelphia. So once I found that out, and I was like, oh, okay. So I kept checking that out, and ended up like submitting myself for like independent stuff, student film work, and everything, and pretty much through phillyfilm.org, that's how I ended up meeting Lyles and stuff, you know, because I ended up auditioning for his film, T-SARS. Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I know T-SARS.
Yeah, it's called.
Oh yes, okay, yes, I know that one. For a second, I was like, "What's this obscure like thing?" You knew what he was talking about. Sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
We can move on.
So yeah, that's how I met Nate and Dimitri and Jay and all those guys and stuff, and I believe it or not, I was like the first one there to audition.
Really?
Yeah, he wasn't even there yet. Nate.
You showed up before.
I showed up before everybody because I was like, look, I'm gonna make sure that I was there early.
Yeah.
They didn't have to worry about me, you know, and I didn't want them, you know, thinking that I was like irresponsible or whatnot. So
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
Before you got here, Nate's like, he always shows up early. He's so early. I wonder if he's going to show up 2 hours early. So that's when that started.
That was the first impression. I mean, it left an impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would be there and you're determined and you respect what you do and respect people's time. So
right.
That's why, you know, it's always a pleasure to work with you.
Right. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
People need that type of work ethic.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't like to F with people's time.
Right.
Because that's your life currency.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is true. Time.
You guys obviously became best friends after that. You worked on so much since. Right? How many things have you guys worked on together?
3 or 4?
Well, 3 or 4, I think. It was like
2 of those projects out there.
Yep. And then we had a Batman Beyond, and then of course,
series, so.
and then Static, so 4 and stuff. So yeah, I mean.
And now this.
And now
just add it to your little friendship resume.
And now this, you know.
I don't like that.
We
It's too cute. So did you ever take any classes over there, or were you just like doing the whole learn on set thing?
Kind of both. I did take classes with a agency, Mainline Models, and in media, and I took lessons there. And then after that, of course, in Georgia, I went to John Casablanca's modeling and acting school.
I was gonna say, you said of course as if I'm supposed to know that that's obviously the one you
obviously,
went to in Georgia.
you know, in Georgia,
Wow.
you know, I mean, yeah. But so John Casablanca's is like Barbizon.
What?
If you
Speaking another language here. Right?
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
Barbizon is a school that pretty much is geared like teaching and training models in the industry, and you know, teaching them how to do all like certain techniques, runway and stuff. John Casablanca was pretty much the same thing, but they were supposed to also teach as far as acting as well, and also like improv, makeup techniques, and for auditions and stuff. But you know, graduated from there, and that was in Georgia, and in Pennsylvania. I went to Mainline Models, and they were supposedly have been repping me, but you know,
but you're more doing like classes there.
yeah,
and, like,
just the classes.
And then they said they're
course.
submitting you, but who knows what's going on.
Right.
Were you getting auditions?
Not through them.
Okay.
Yes. Most of my stuff at that time I was getting on my own through self-submit, and then my friend at the church, Victor Velez, we was talking, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I should introduce you to my agent," you know. And at the time, I was driving a school bus, and one of my children came to see me in a stage play that I was in. That was on the bus, and their parents came along as well, and so you know,
that's cool.
One of the parents saw me, and he was like, "Hey, you have an agent?" And I was like, "No, I don't have an agent." I was like, "I'm actually, you know, getting ready to set up a meeting with an agent right now." And he was like, "Okay, my aunt is an agent, and you know,
really?
I think
That is the most random way to get an agent. That's so cool, though."
He was like, "Yeah, my aunt is an agent, and you know, you're really good. You know, I should introduce you to her." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I was like, "What's her name?" And he was like, "Gerlang." And I was like, "Wait, Gerlang with expressions?" And he was like, "Yes. Why?" I was like, "Well, I had already set up an appointment with her because that's the one Victor Velez is his agent." And he was like, "Getting me in contact with her." And he was like, "Oh, okay, great. Don't do anything yet." And he was like,
"Let me send a text."
He was like, "I'll talk to her during the holidays and stuff, and then after the holidays, when school started back, I'll let you know what she says." And I was like, "Okay, great." And so he did. Came back out of the holidays, and he was like, she said, give her a call. She'll clear her schedule and stuff. So did that. They was in the process of moving from Philadelphia because they had an office in Philadelphia, and they was moving out to Malvern, Pennsylvania. And I was like, "Oh, okay, great. That's closer." You know? And so I waited till they moved and settled into their new office, and I went to meet with Greer, and she was really nice. And she had looked at my headshot and my resume, and she was like, "Okay, yes, we can." She was like, "We can do this.
We can work with this.
We can work with this. We're gonna try to get you, you know, get seen by different casting directors." And also she was like, "You know, want you to get for these profiles, these sites, you know."
Yeah, like the legit ones.
Right. Yeah, the legit ones. And so I was like, "All right, cool." Did that. And, you know, that was 2011. And when I signed with her, she kept me busy. I was like literally driving the school bus, going on auditions, in between my runs, and then also teaching pre-K as well.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like doing all of these things, and I was like, okay. My mom was like, and I ended up getting a house, and my mom was like, "Why did you get a house? You never there." She was like, I was like,
"You're working so much."
Yeah, no, right? She was like, "You're never there. You're always on the road and stuff." So I was like, "Yes, but I like my own space. You know, I like to have my own place."
I'm not gonna live in my school bus, Mom.
Right. So, it was like, I would say 2011, 2012. Each year it was getting busier and busier. In 2012, things was like really picking up, and I was like, "All right, maybe I should start thinking about moving out to LA."
Yeah, maybe I could be a star.
Whatnot. And then I was hearing stories from everybody that moved out here and came back home. And I was like, okay, not yet. So
yeah, it scared you a little bit?
No, it didn't. I actually started tailoring my career off of what people were saying, how things was happening to them over in LA.
Okay.
So I was getting my resume, building my resume up, getting myself together before I moved out here.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, make sure I was SAG eligible before I came out here. I made sure that I had some credits on my resume. Before I came out, and then had a reel put together and stuff. So it was like, okay, there was certain goals that I wanted to do before I came out here to even try to get into this market. And I would say 2014, at the beginning of that year, actually, that Christmas of 2013 and that whole winter blizzard that happened, I was like, yeah, it's time to leave.
The world is telling me.
Yeah, I was like, it's time to cut bait. It was like, all right. I just called my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm moving to LA. She was like, I was wondering when you was gonna do that. She was like, I thought you was gonna do that a while ago. I was like, it wasn't time. I was like, now it's time. She was like, you just tired of digging up snow. I was like, yeah, I am that too. So,
that's exactly what's going on.
That's really what's going on.
Do you think if you had moved to LA before you had gotten all this stuff, it would have taken you longer to have gotten yourself established in that way, to get your credits and your resume, you know, and all that?
You know, I often wondered about that as well because, you know, I'm older and, you know, a lot of people that come out here are so much younger than me. And it's like, you know, I kind of often sometimes think about that as like, did I waste my time, you know, being in Pennsylvania? Or
like networking over there, just to lose all those contacts when you come here.
Right, and, you know, in a way, it's like,
what can you do?
Everybody have their own path to take. You know, everybody, you can't judge other people's path and what's happening in their life, compare it to what's going on in yours, because it's different. You know, there's no telling what would have happened if I had came straight here from Georgia. I mean, I could have came here and nothing would have happened.
And gotten so turned off by the things you see of the industry, you're like, this isn't even for me.
Right, because, and then I wouldn't have had, like, the connects, like, some of my Pennsylvania friends that's here.
All of them.
All of them,
You.
Right, Nate, and stuff here, because, like, when I got here from Pennsylvania, I stayed with Pennsylvania people until I got on my own 2 feet. So, if I had came from Georgia to here, I wouldn't have had that contact. I wouldn't have had those connections and stuff. I would have probably been like everybody else, living out in my car, trying to find out, like, how can I survive out here? You know, trying to find a job or whatnot. So, in a way, I'm like, no, I think it was best that I did go to Pennsylvania, made those connections and stuff, and then, you know,
and then you all came here,
and we all migrated over here. So, you know, it was just interesting. It's like some people was already over here, and then when I said I was coming over here, then all of a sudden it was like I was hearing about other people. It's like, oh, I'm going over there into LA, and it was like this mass exodus of Pennsylvanians. It's like everybody was like flying over to LA and stuff, you know. Because he was messaging me. He was like, so how is it out there? He was like, bro, you made the jump before I did. I was getting ready to come out there. And believe it or not, it was like I was at home, sleep, by the way, in between my runs, and I get this phone call from Nate, and he was like,
in LA or
in Philly.
Okay.
It was between my school bus run, and I was in Pennsylvania, and we get this phone call from Nate, and he was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this Batman Beyond series, and he was like, I was thinking about you playing Spellbinder, and I'm like, yeah. He was like, you would be good with that? I was like, yeah, okay. And he was like, you know who Spellbinder? I was like, yeah, I know who he is. He was like, all right, okay, cool. I was like, all right, bye. And I hung up, and I was like, wait, what?
You already signed the contract, man. You can't back out of this.
I was like, did I just dream that, or did this actually just happen? I got up out of my bed and I looked at my phone to see if that phone call took place, and I was like, okay, he did call, and I was like, let me call him back, and I was like, did you just call me? He was like, yeah. He was like, you know, we was talking about you playing Spellbinder and this, and I was like, oh, right. Okay, when you plan on doing that? And he was like, well, it's gonna be some time. I was like, well, you know, I'm leaving for LA. Oh yeah, that's no problem. I'm gonna be shooting it out in LA anyway. I was like, okay. Great.
And you're like, yes, I booked my first job in LA.
You know. Yeah.
Right, bring it out there. Hit the ground running.
Random question before we move on to like the whole LA thing.
Right.
When you decided it was time to leave Philly and go to LA, and you told your agent, did they try to convince you to maybe stay so that they would maybe keep making money off you, or were they very supportive of you going? Did they help connect you to anyone there?
Believe it or not, when I did go and talk to Greer, and I was like, and I sat down and I went into the office, I was like, I have some news, and she was like, okay. I was like, you might not like it, and she was like,
I know where this is going.
you're leaving, and I I was like, yeah. I was like, I think it's time for me to move out to LA. And she was like, you sure? And I was like, yes. She was like, okay, it's a different beast out there. I was like, I know. I was like, I won't know until I try. So she was like, okay. And they was very supportive and stuff. And actually, they was like, we'll still rep you over here.
Oh, cool.
I was like, okay. Grace, it sounds great. I was like, great. So I'll still be able to get work over here. She was like, yeah. She was like, I'll still submit you for work over here.
And would you do self-tapes or something? Or
yes, do
okay.
self-tapes and stuff. And then also,
Great.
like, I'll just call her, and I also check in with her and say if anything is, like, good, is, like, worth for me to come out there.
It was like under a certain amount of money, just not worth it for you.
Right. I mean, because it's got to be more than a plane
the plane ticket, yeah, because you'll be hired as a local.
Right. So it's like, okay. They was fine. And,
so it seems like you had a pretty good relationship with them. So like, how often did you go in and actually like see your agents to like try to build a bond? Or because I only email my agents. Like, one of them I haven't even met. Because he lives in San Diego, so you know it's just like emails.
Oh man, see, I actually pick up the phone and dial the number.
Oh no, that's old
school.
school.
You know.
We don't connect with voices
and you know, there's this thing calling a voice. You know, you talking human interaction. You know.
Huh? Over my head.
I know, right?
But all these things you're referencing.
You know, there's something the thing that we were doing right now. You know, the human interaction.
Oh, that.
Right.
Got it.
Yes. Okay. See.
So would you like ever like go in like in the holidays with gifts and like to like schmooze them? I know some people do that. They do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. There's some people do that, and I will admittedly say I am horrible at that.
So you do it?
No,
oh, no
it's like as far as like actually being up on it, as far as doing things like that. But I have like when I was there in Pennsylvania, I would get them stuff like chocolate or a card or whatnot, and say thank you.
When you book stuff,
when I was booking things and stuff, and but yeah, sometimes even while I'm here, I will call in just to check in and say, hey, how you doing? I'm still alive. What's happening over there?
Yeah.
And stuff. So
hope you remember who I am.
Right, and it's like they'll let me know. It's like, oh, okay.
Are you still repped by them in Philly?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yep, I do. I am. Until I get an agent here, and that would be if it's an exclusive contract, then we'll have to sit down and talk. But other than that, yeah, I'm still rep by them over there.
So you haven't found an agent here? Have you been like looking actively for one, or because I know you're also kind of doing production stuff. So is that more of a focus now that you're here? And
I have a management team.
Okay.
Met with them yesterday, believe it or not. We was going over the same thing.
Yeah.
But agent-wise, no, I have not had an agent in quite some time since I've been here because I've been doing a lot of self-submitting of my own. So now it's like the past few years, it's been a lot of production work. Been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. So this year, it's kind of like that straddling that line there. I would still go on auditions. Still love acting. I wouldn't give that up and stuff, but I also like creating stuff too. And so production work pays the bills. It's what's keeping me steady right now and everything until like I'm booked on an acting job that's like a series regular or something, and then it's like, okay, then acting would be paying the bills.
So is that your only like side gig right now?
It's production
stuff.
Yes,
or?
production stuff.
That's good though. That your income is all from the industry.
Yes, yeah. That's pretty much what I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to get sucked into the normal thing as far as being a server.
That's what I'm stuck in.
Yeah.
Well, not stuck because it's letting me live my life.
Right.
But,
Yeah, I'm not. Granted that I'm not putting down anybody that serves or anything. I don't have the temperament for it.
Yeah.
I did try it when I was out here. I was at a casino and I couldn't do it. It was so irritating, annoying. I mean, people are so
entitled.
Man. Yes. Yes.
I remember the stories.
Yes. And I just don't have the temperament. It's not like I used to, and I don't have the patience. And it's like, look, somebody getting mad because, you know, their order is not coming out within the 5 minutes of them just putting it in and stuff. And I'm like, look, really? Seriously?
Yeah. It's like I've worked so hard in my life. I don't need this abuse right now.
Right.
Because I've just worked past that and I know I'm better than that.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, and customers can get nasty. They can talk down to you and stuff. And I'm like, I don't need that. I really don't need that energy, that negativity and stuff. I'll be looked down at. I'll be put down like that. And then also it was like I wasn't connected to the industry, and I felt like me doing something outside of the industry was just like a wall that was just like cutting me away from what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Is there any way, like, any advice you can give to people who would like to try to do the same thing?
As far as being
Like
production.
Regular, like regular production instead of doing a regular 9 to 5.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
I know they'd rather, if you're gonna be verbally abused or whatever,
Right.
you'd rather be on set.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, I just want to throw in, because when I first came here, I was like, maybe I'll do the PA thing. But then I looked and I was like, it's kind of hard to find, because PAs, or anything, they hire amongst their friends, I noticed. And even Corey, like all her jobs are friends with people who she's worked, and she networks her butt off when she is working, and she just get texts saying, tomorrow come in.
Yeah.
So how'd you get your first one, and then?
Yeah, the production work, I kind of fell into that actually. One of my friends now, who was an AD for a film that I was in for Sci-Fi, we connected in the rap party, and we just stayed in contact. And he posted up. I would see him always posting up, "Hey, I need PAs for this," or "I need PAs for this," and I would say, "Hey, you know, I can help out or whatnot." And he would never call me. He would never reach out to me, and I'm like, "What?" No, I'm like,
does he like me?
What in the world? I'm like, "What's wrong with me?" I'm like, so.
It's the easiest job.
So I contacted him. And I was like, I see you looking for a PA. I was like, every time you post up something like that, I always respond, and you never say anything. I was like, what's going on? And he was like, oh, my bad. He was like, I'm sorry. And he was like, I'll get you next time. So next time came around, he had a music video, and he contacted me. And he was like, hey, can you help out? Need a PA for this music video. And I was like, yes, sure. Helped out on the music video. And then after that, he contacted me again for another project that he was on, and he was like, I like the way you work on set, and I like having you on set, and you're actually really smart, and you can pick up on things.
And you want to be here.
Right, and you're a hard worker. And he was like, I think you're more than just a PA. How about it being a key set?
Wow.
And I was like, he was like, you know what that is? I was like, nope, just sounds like more work. And
so you said this was after your one PA job?
Yeah, after my one PA job.
That's awesome.
So
a lot of people get stuck on the one level, and they, you know, like, how do you get up? Yeah.
So I was like, he was like, actually, no. He was like, you get to tell the PAs what you're in charge of PA Nation. And I was like, okay, so key set PA, you're delegating, you know, orders and stuff. So I was like, all right, cool. I was on that. That was actually Facebook first show, Facebook Watch show, the 5 Points.
Okay.
Was on there and worked there, and then like the rap party, networked and ended up meeting this other guy, and he was a APOC for the production for People Magazine Investigates. For Investigate Discovery.
Yeah.
So I was talking with him, and he was like, what you doing now? And I was like, well, I'm going to be looking for work now since this is done. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, I understand. And he was like, what were you doing? And I was like, well, I was key set PA. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, what are you doing? And he told me and the show and stuff. I was like, well, if you guys need help, let me know. He was like, really? I was like, yeah. He was like, actually, I think we do need somebody. And I was like, well, I'm available, so, you know, you know, and, you know, he was like, all right, and he was like, I'll let you know, later in the week, and, yeah, actually, the next day, he texted me, and he was like, yeah, we do need somebody, would you be available to come in Wednesday? I was like, yeah, sure, so came in Wednesday, worked on the first day of set and stuff, and worked the rest of the season. And then that AD on that show, we connected during the shoot, and he would start teaching me stuff as far as like being an AD and everything, the whole like the roles and like what they have to do and everything. And so I was like, all right, cool. And after that, he got jobs. He started bringing me on as his key set, and then like as like I was getting more, you know, understanding as far as set and like how the set operates and stuff, and he started showing me like things as far as paperwork and stuff. And of course, I was always asking questions.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, how you do that? So what did that mean when you do that there? And why are they over there?
Yeah.
So, and so he was like, okay. So he was teaching me everything, and I was like, all right. And I was just soaking it up, just taking it all in. And at that time, that when I was doing that, then somebody else contacted me for another project, and I was like work with them as a key set PA, and the coordinator, she was like, oh, okay, cool, you know, we can work on something else and stuff, and it just branched out from there. So yeah, it's like all about the circles and networking.
When they get promoted, they're like, hey, maybe I'll recommend you for the job I just had.
Right. And usually usually productions like to bring on people they already work with. And if an AD has a team that he already knows and work with, then he'll bring that team along with him, because he already know their work habits, and it's already a cohesive group. So everybody knows what they need to do.
Yeah.
So it just started growing from there. It's like 2017. It's like I did a few projects, and then like 2018, it was like nonstop. Like from January on, I had January I flew up to Seattle and was working on a feature, that the second part of a feature that we shot here, because we shot the first part here in LA, and then in January we finished the rest most of the rest out in Seattle. And the AD that was from People Magazine Investigate, he brought me onto that as his second, and so second AD, and I was like, okay, and which was great because he already knew that I was trying to learn how to use the program called Casper, which would build call sheets and stuff, and you know, doing all the production reports and everything. So it's like, I was like, all right, he's brought me onto that, and I was like, he was like, don't worry, you know, I'll show you what you need to do or whatnot. And I was like, all right, cool. And from there, it was like, I ended up doing that to another show for El Rey Network as a key set PA, and then People Magazine had their third season, and they brought me back on for the third season, and
you're just building your resume.
Building my resume, collecting my days and stuff. And
so were you doing any auditions at this point, or?
I was doing self-tape auditions and stuff. I was still submitting myself on Actors Access. Was it not as much a priority, or? Well, I was still submitting. It was just that, you know, it was like not a whole lot of people was, you know. It's like, oh, we want you to come in and audition. You know, it's like, okay, I can only do what you give me, you know. So. Then didn't I think Nate mentioned? Did you direct something recent or no? I did direct. We have a web series, a production company. We have a web series out called Siblings, and that's up on YouTube. First season, and we did that in 20. Man, years go by so fast. They're all blurred. Yeah, in 2016. This decade it was done. Yeah, I know. This decade. 2016 is when we got it out. And so we finished in 2016. We released the first episode on Labor Day of 2017. Okay. So, and then, yes, I did fly back in 2018 in January. Went back to Pennsylvania. And my business partner and I, we was over there in Philly shooting a 40-minute short that we got a contract with Stephen King for. Oh, cool. So we was like finishing that up, and that's in post right now. And now I'm back here, and in pre-production for my next production for the short film I'm getting ready to shoot in May.
Oh, great.
Called Wimga. So yeah.
Okay. Do you write these yourself, or do you kind of like collaborate with people, or you maybe produce other people's ideas? What do you? What do you do?
Well, Wimga I wrote myself. Siblings, my business partner and I, we both came up with the story with. And the other, One for the Road is the name of the Stephen King film. He, my business partner wrote that. So it's like kind of like a back and forth thing and stuff. And right now I'm currently writing another script and stuff. So yeah,
just keeping yourself creative and busy.
Yeah, just pretty much. I have to, you know, since I'm not booking any acting work and everything.
So,
it's like.
Oh, do you want to like act in these ones you're making yourself, or are they more just for your directorial resume?
Well, at first, Siblings was supposed to be something for me to be in, but then I ended up having friends that was in it as actors that are union SAG. So I was like, okay, and then that was no problem. I was like, well, I can do it until SAG said, no, you can't.
Why not?
Because I'm a must join now.
Oh, okay, I see.
So it was like, I was like, oh, okay, wait, what do you mean?
I guess I'll just direct it.
Yeah. So yeah, they literally was like, so what are you gonna do? I was like, well, I'm the director. So they was like, oh, well, see, you got something else to do for it. And I was like,
thanks, SAG.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I do. It's not what I wanted, but yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But it was kind of great that they did tell me no, because when I started directing it, and it being my first project that, you know, at that extent, it was a lot of work. A lot of paperwork was going into it and stuff, and I wouldn't have had time to process the character and get that down. And I was like, all right. So, yeah, these projects here, it just so happened that, you know, there ended up being union projects. And next is, of course, Wimba is going to be union, but I am planning on getting like a camera of my own, and going to be starting to shoot some small stuff like for myself, and probably get some friends together to shoot some stuff and everything. That's not going to be as big scale as our other projects. It's just going to be small stuff
to keep yourself like momentum going.
Right. And then also like they put me in as an actor too, so I can have footage and stuff. So, but
is the goal of these just for footage, or are you gonna like put them in festivals? Any kind
what our bigger stuff, our Wimgas is yes, they're going to festivals. Siblings, our pilot made it into 4 festivals.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, all that stuff we usually would try to go to festivals. We're actually trying to get like just some kind of distribution for them. I know like Wimga, we're doing the short now. We're only doing the short first because I'm creating that to have some kind of footage to put a package together so I can get investors for the feature. So yeah, just hustling, trying to get that all together and everything. It's just trying to stay creative on either in front or behind, you know. And I just don't want to become stagnant.
Yeah.
It's just being still. And so that's why like production work helps. It pays the bills.
But it also keeps you around.
It keeps me around people.
Yeah.
Keeps me in the industry. I can network that way. Half of the stuff I've actually been on set as far as in production, they end up throwing me in the film.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
it's like, okay, and they find it. It's like, oh, Curtis, you're an actor. Can you play this role for me?
Yeah.
You know, and I will say, thank you to all the actors that don't show up on set. You know, that's like late and just don't care or whatnot, because that helps me out. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm available. I'm right here. You know?
Are these ever like speaking roles or?
Some of them. I actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some of them.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So cool.
She was like, "Where the next party?"
I know. Take me to your rap party.
Some of them. So you know, it's nice and everything. The last one I did was one for Bounce TV called Stone Cold Christmas. And I was the second AD on there, and then one of the actors decided not to show up on set, and
Wow.
they ended up throwing me in as a caroler, so I had to sing.
Good thing you had that musical
Yeah, I
experience
know,
from your
right?
middle school days.
Right. I was like, okay, that's no problem. I thought it was like, because they was like, Curtis, you mind being a caroler for this? And I was like, yeah, sure. And they was like, it's going to be for the rest of the movie. And I was like, okay, all right.
Is there like a caroler in every scene or
fine.
something?
And believe it or not, it was like, it's quite a few scenes that the carolers was in and
show
stuff.
up a
And I'm
lot.
like, wow. I was like, okay, this is great, you know. But, you know, yeah.
You still had to be a PA? Or still
Yeah, did you like give up your AD job to like, did you like switch
No,
roles
I was
completely?
doing double duty.
Yeah.
I was doing double
Yeah.
duty. I was like doing that and
Do you get paid double for that?
the thing is like sometimes I look at it I'm like, look, I'm just here just to help to get the process going. You know, I'm already getting paid. It's good money. I mean, you know, and it's like, all right. And if it's a bigger production on a bigger scale, then it's like, okay, you got me pulling double duty. Yeah, we're going to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with that, as far as like being paid for either or, if you had to come to the fork in the road and you had to go through doing production and filmmaking versus acting and performance, which road are you taking like right now in your life?
What you mean? If
Like if tomorrow there are two door or like a door and it's like today you do this job
You
or
gotta
this
spend
job.
2 years on this movie acting, or you got to spend 2 years on this movie producing?
well, that all depends on
The project.
yeah. So
But answer it.
I would say because you know I would say that because this is a good question because it was something that came up with my management team yesterday because it was like, what is your focus? And it was like, where do you want to do? It's like, okay, if I came across somebody on the street and they said, how is Curtis as an actor? What would they say? And stuff. And you know, at this point in the time, my mind was blank. I'm like, really, you coming at me? Like, if I was presented a role, say, my management team called me up and they said, hey, Spielberg wants you to play this leading role in his next film. I'm not turning down Spielberg. Just to put that point blank, I'm not turning it down. I mean, granted that I'm still climbing up in the whole AD world in the DGA, but if an opportunity opens up, I'm taking that opportunity. Either it be production that I get to direct the next Marvel film or the next big film, or acting, or I get to act into the next big film or whatnot. Whichever door that opens up.
So whichever one would be the bigger.
Both opened up and
Well, no, I guess
you could direct Static, or you could do the Spielberg film as an actor.
Direct, really?
I was gonna say like act.
You could direct a live action Static,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah.
see a Marvel movie, a DC movie.
I would assume it's the one that's the next level up, right? Is that kind of
Right.
what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Would the next level be
But
that director?
Like
Okay.
a director or a speaking role
I'm
in
just
a.
curious, like right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Would you rather
Okay.
take a one line in a huge movie, or direct something a little bit smaller? Is that what
You
you're
know
saying?
for an answer.
yeah, I know you're looking for it. Everybody's looking for an
I'm
answer.
just saying, like, right now.
I want
But-
everyone to see Nate. So he's so
But-
intense
I know,
right now.
right?
Pick an answer.
He is so
I'm back
intent
here.
right now.
I don't know the answer. I'm curious. It
So
can change later.
no,
No,
but
it's film. You can't change it.
I know, right?
Come on,
If
coming down to it.
right now, if it came down to it, and if I got an opportunity to say, hey, you get to play this leading role, it has to be a leading role.
Yeah.
It has to be a leading role in the film,
Right.
and or you know, be an AD over in this film.
Or the next level up.
Director. See, this is the thing because people really don't. Directing a film, I'm not a union.
Yeah.
That's what's stopping me. So, to me, directing a ultra low budget film to me acting in a major production film, and then there's so many variables because then it's like, okay, how much I'm getting paid to be this actor,
The same.
you know?
That you would get paid.
Well, the pay would cover whatever union dues you have to pay. So
Right.
I feel like that wouldn't be an issue anymore.
Right. So, how much am I getting paid for being this actor? And if it's something that I can put my teeth into as an actor, you know, is this going to help me grow as an actor? You know,
Would you rather grow as an actor?
I would like to grow as an actor. I always would like to grow as an actor.
Oh, so you wouldn't do like a stupid slapstick comedy? You'd rather take the, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's,
But no, you
yeah.
like more, not more or less one than the other. Just grow overall.
Grow overall, you know.
So I guess last question.
Yeah.
Okay,
This,
so
this has been
a wild ride.
This has been the grill session of Curtis, you know.
But buckle up, cause
You know, it was a trick. That's what it was. It was like, Curtis, I've been wanting to get you on my show, you know, and stuff. And now it's like, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grill you and this.
make you question everything about your life.
I know, right?
But this last
going
one.
in the corner.
Yeah. So, okay, if you were to get like a job opportunity in this industry, whether acting or production, what goes on in your head to make you choose to do it?
Okay, one, is my talents being wasted?
That's a really good one.
I look at picking a role. I look at it as if I can push myself as an actor. Can I grow? Can I not just be the normal guy when they see me portray this character on TV, where they see just Curtis up there, you know, it's like, oh, that's Curtis doing something, you know,
That
or
anyone can do.
That anyone can do, or where they see this character going through this whole life, this story, and see like, wow, okay, he just took me on this journey. So yes, picking a role is like, okay, it's got to be something that's like I said earlier, that I can sink my teeth into, that I can push myself, develop, and grow, and think outside the box. And then also too, will it be okay for, you know, me playing this role as far as according to how I am as a person? And what kind of message am I trying to convey to people if I play this role?
Does it align with your values?
Right.
And or am I promoting something that I cannot stand behind? Yeah.
Right, exactly. Because I told like other people, it was like, actors, we're high price salesmen. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're selling what's on the script. You know, we're getting you to believe what we're doing. And even like in production, it's like, okay, is this going to help me grow? Is this going to help me move forward? You know, I don't want to be a PA. I mean, nothing wrong with being a PA. Let's get that straight. I just don't want to be a PA for the rest of my life. You know, I want
really
to
does,
right. I want to grow in the industry. I want to learn more. I want to be able to do more. You know, when I be brought on set, I just don't want to be a gopher. It's like somebody just say, oh, go get me this, or, you know, you can do this or whatnot. Yeah. It's like, no, when they bring me on set, it's like, oh, Curtis is a huge asset because he knows how to do this. He knows how to, you know, wrangle talent. He knows how to build call sheets if something was happening to one of their second seconds or the second AD or whatnot. So they won't be in a bind. You know, I try to be an asset than a liability. Yeah. And that was something like growing up that was instilled to me from my mom. She was like, you have to decide which kind of man you want to be to this world. Are you going to be an asset to the world or a liability? You know, not just in this industry, but in life in general. So whatever you do, you have to make sure that it's going to be able to not just benefit yourself, but benefit the others that's around you. You know, so you all can grow together and you can all learn and be able to achieve your goals. You know, so. You know what's great is that tied into the question that I completely forgot we should ask is, what advice do you have? Remember, we're like, oh, last question. Yeah, but do you have? That's amazing. But is any other kind of like words of wisdom, advice for anyone? I would say. For me. No. Just kidding, everyone. I would bleep it out so no one steals my advice. It's like, what kind of advice you have for everybody, Misc, you know? And they'll be like, oh, what I say, his career takes off. They were like, wait, what did he say? We need to know. I would say, like, approach people, treat people as you would like to treat you, like as you would like to be treated. I mean, that goes like with the Bible, you know, treat others, do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. And don't come in just like with a cocky attitude. I mean, of course, sometimes we do. Even I do it myself sometimes. We're all guilty of it. There are always room to learn. There is always room to grow. And most important of all, listen. Always make sure you listen. On set, in life, relationships, wherever, you listen. Make sure you listen, because if you're not listening, you won't be able to grow. So, I would say and have a good personality.
Fix yourself.
Yeah, fix yourself. Have a good personality. Be willing to want to work with others and stuff. And anybody that looking to get into this industry for money, it's the wrong idea, wrong concept. Because I tell you now that you're not going to make it. You won't make it. It's a lot of work. It's hard work. And I tell people, and I told my management team that I'm in this to create art, to make art. I love making art. I'm an artist, and that and foremost is what I'm here to do, is to make art, to put out there, to entertain others, and to help alleviate other people's pain.
Yeah, and other people will see that, and they'll want to work with you because it aligns with what they came here for.
Right.
And then you'll all work together.
Right, exactly.
And raise to the top.
Race to the top.
Cool.
Okay.
Great. If you want to drop your Instagram handle or any kind of social media.
Yeah, definitely. You can always follow me at Curtis KK's on Instagram and also Facebook. And you can check me out on IMDb as well. And also you can follow my production company on Instagram at CKC Quarterly Pro, and also on Facebook as well, CKC Quarterly Productions. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And now what we do is we stand up and we walk out. I don't know why we never tell people this beforehand.
Because it was
you
that
did?
awkward moment of just sitting here.
Yeah, and then like, oh shit, we forgot.
You know, it's like, okay.
Every time it happens. All right, let's go. What? Oh, yeah. Ooh, get that. Then I could have naturally segued into like
Don't forget to take the seal off. Blooper reel.
That's what you get. You get the trash thrown in your face. Okay.
It's a Dave thing. We do love each other.
I know.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Boom.
Thank you.